Hey folks, RPG a day, day 11. Which are dead RPG would you like to see reborn? Um, if anybody's been watching, all my little RPG a day videos, there's a theme throughout, most of them on a couple of game systems that are near and dear to my heart, one being RuneQuest, the other being the Fantasy Trip. The Fantasy Trip, Steve Jackson games published by Metagaming, started out as little micro games. This is actually a scenario programmed adventure for Steve Jackson games. These are the first two I got, Death Test 2 and The Grail Quest, that were designed for the Fantasy Trip, which came out originally as Melee and Wizard, which were little micro games. They were combat oriented. Melee, obviously, hand to hand fighting, close combat, and missile weapons kind of stuff. And Wizard being, spells and wizards. And they had a basic generic character creation in both of those games. Later on, they came out with In the Labyrinth, which is the GM's guide and campaign game, which has all the role-playing stuff in it, skills and character creation and monsters and all that kind of stuff. And they came out with Advanced Melee and Advanced Wizard, which goes more into depth with armor and weapons and combat for Advanced Melee, and into spells and magic item creation and potions and spell books and all kinds of magic stuff for Advanced Wizard. These are three little thin booklets. I don't remember now how much they cost. I was looking to see if they might have a price tag in there somewhere, but they don't. I have, over the years, lost my copies of those books, although I've got pages out of them from stuff that I've tried to put a binder together of all my combat stuff. So I've got some melee things in there, and so I was able to pick up a couple PDFs from them somewhere. I've been looking online recently to find out where I got those, and there are some In the Labyrinth or the Fantasy Trip websites out there that try to keep the game alive, kind of thing. And somebody is trying to figure out who still owns the copyrights to this kind of stuff. It's copyrighted to Steve Jackson, by the way. And can we get it republished? That kind of thing. Because it's such a simple, clean, streamlined system and consistent through all three books. It's amazing. I love it. But it's technically a dead game, although I've mentioned before about Dark City Games, their website. They do the programmed adventures for their own system, which is based on the Fantasy Trip and is very, very similar. There's some differences, experience points and some weapon damage. The way skills are correlated sometimes, which I liked. I incorporated into my stuff. But that's the dead game that I would like to see brought back to life. I'm going to try and do some editing magic because I've never done editing with YouTube before, except for a couple days ago when I was trying to compile different videos together because I had to take it with my phone and I had to keep switching it on and off. I'll see if I can't throw up some pictures from that game, the Fantasy Trip. But for day 11, the Fantasy Trip. If you can find it, get it.